Hey everyone. Okay, this is our next tutorial video. This one is going to focus more on online play. So what we want to do now is we want to host a game through Steam and allow other people to join remotely. So I'm going to go to online play and I'm going to put in my username. I'm DM Allen, but you can put in whatever you like here. And then I'm going to say host a game. So this is if I am the DM, how do I start off hosting a game? So I'll say host. Now, game name, I can say whatever I'd like. I'll say tutorial. I'm going to assign a password here, put in anything you'd like. And what campaign do I want to run this? And so what I'm going to do is use our tutorial campaign here. And then what is the starting map? Well, we only have one map. We've been working with here in the tutorial, we just have the crypt map, but I could have a whole bunch. If I chose something like, let's see, something that I'm running currently, oh gosh, I don't even know what to show you guys. Let me say, um, Call from the Deep. If I were to select that, you can see all the maps I have here. So I can select any of these that I want to. That's the starting map when the players join the game. But we'll go back to our tutorial campaign, and I'm going to say crypt, and I will say create game. Now this will now show up in Steam, allowing players to join. If they launch Keep It Lit, here's the autosave prompt coming up to say, do you want to restore from the autosave? I'm going to say no. Um, it shows my player tokens on the map. They occur right in the center of the map every time, so don't lose track of where they are. Just zoom out, find the center, and say, oh, okay, they must be right there. Well, there they are. I only have two players, so here we go. All right, so what's going to happen now is this game will show up, and players will see the game, and they can click on it and enter the password and join the game. When they do, you will see down here this little prompt will show up, and it will say that the player is connected, and it will say that they're downloading resources, which means they're downloading all the maps and the icons and all the map lines and everything they need to render it locally on their system with Keep It Lit. And also keep in mind, this version that I'm showing you is the DLC. It's the DM's version, the paid version of Keep It Lit. The players will all use, presumably, the free version of Keep It Lit as clients so they can join your game at any time they want. So uh, you will see them show up here in the list of players as they connect, and it will say that they're downloading the resources, and once they're downloaded, they're ready to begin. Um, you can then take one of the tokens here that you want to assign to the player and give them control, and you will go over here to the sidebar and it will say assigned, and you want to click on this and it will show a list of all the players that are connected. You can have multiple assigned tokens to any given player. So if you have a player who's playing a wizard and they have a familiar, you could assign both the wizard token and the familiar to that player. If you have players that are playing two characters at the same time, you can give them both control of the token. So I will show you what that looks like from the client side here. I'm going to do another video to show kind of what that looks like on their side. But I think the next thing I'm going to do, I'll go ahead and stop this video and I'm going to record another video and append the two together. So I'll take a quick break here, but I'm going to get another PC set up and I will have them join as a client and we'll see what it looks like from the DM's perspective. Okay, I'll be back to show you that in just a second. Okay, so I've got a separate PC with a separate Steam account all set up ready to join our campaign here. So again, I'm going to be watching down here for this little status indicator for players down in the lower left corner, and I will now go and have the client join us for a game. I've named the user for the client just player 1, and I'm going to click on, you can't see this right now, you can't see the player screen, but I'll try to add that here to the video at the end. Entering a password for this campaign. And now it says joining, and you can see that we've now changed our status here, and it says player 1, and it's downloading resources. So as the DM, I can see that this player has joined, and on the player's perspective, what they can see right now is they can see a percent complete that's scrolling as it's downloading the map and all the tokens and the map lines and everything, as I mentioned before, for rendering. Now, this is one reason that it's a good idea to try to make your maps of a reasonable resolution. This is a 4K map, very high resolution that we had custom built by a good friend of mine I want to show you her Patreon here. She does unusual maps, patreon.com/unusual maps. She's just an excellent map developer using Arc Incarnate. Um, but she's done this map, but this is a 4K version of it, so very high resolution, so it's going to take a little while to download. Now, the one thing I will say about the way Keep It Lit is built is that once your players download a map or token assets, they will not need to do this again. So if you come back the following week to continue on with your map and whatever you've built, you're not going to have to endure the delay for the download again. Players will do that one time, and that's all they need to do. This is a very large map. If I was going to be using this, in some sort of publication, what I probably would do is I would resample the map and bring it down to a significantly smaller size. Um, right now, through my network with various speeds that I've got, we're at about 85% on the player's side. So we're almost there. Okay, we're now at 90%, almost there. 95, and we're complete. Okay, so now it changes to a little red icon here indicating to the DM that the player is now waiting a token assignment. On the player side, on the client side, all they can see is the Keep It Lit splash screen. And on their side, it says awaiting DM to assign tokens. So we can also, of course, kick them out if we should ever want to do that. But we added that feature just sort of to help you out. But I've never had to invoke that. But awaiting a token assignment. Okay, so what am I going to do here? I'm just going to close this window and I'm going to say, okay, let's give the fighter control for this new player one who just joined. So I'm going to select the fighter token and I'm going to go up here to assigned and I'm going to click on player one. So now what just happened on the client window is I can now see the map. Because the fighter has a torch that's lit, they can see it. Now if I double click right here and I deactivate it, the screen on the client side has gone completely black. They don't see anything. If I double click and reactivate their token, now they can see it. All right, so I can control that. I can start their torch timer. I can pause their torch timer. I can resume it, um, start a new torch timer. I can change the color of the torch. I can add status indicators as we did before. The players cannot do these things. They cannot change the status indicators. They cannot control their light source. You as the DM have to turn that on for them. You assign their token, and once that's assigned, the player can now you can see my mouse here. This is the DM's mouse, but I'm going to now go over to the player side, and I'm going to move the token around through the client. So it's nice and smooth. The player can move this around, very little lag, and the player can, you know, pan the map, move the map wherever they'd like. They can, go to other rooms. They can free to explore whatever they'd like in the dungeon, in however they want to see. Now, the other thing that's really important to know is in online play, if the wizard has a light and is independent of the fighter here and is over in this location, the wizard would be lit up here, and the wizard can see this hallway because he has a light and he's carrying it around with him. The fighter doesn't see this at all, right? And you shouldn't. The fighter should only see the light source that the fighter can see, and that is exactly what I'm seeing on the client window right now. So I will reverse this. So I will host this session from another PC, and I'll show you what it looks like on the client side. So I'll do that here in just a second. Take a quick break, and we'll switch over and reverse our views. All right, now I'm over on a laptop, and I'm driving it from the client's perspective. So this is what it would look like for your players. So I'm going to click on online play. As you can see, there's a lot fewer options here for the free version. Give them a name, player one, and click join. Then I'm going to click on the campaign that I want, which is just called tutorial in this case. So I'm going to say join, and I'm going to put in my simple little 3-character password here. It says joining game and immediately goes to awaiting on DM to assign tokens. Now, we didn't have to download anything this time. We already went through the download once. This is all cached on the player's PC, and it's all encrypted and hashed so that players wouldn't be able to open the maps or anything like that in between sessions. But nevertheless, they don't have to endure the wait any longer. They do it just one time, and now they're good to go. So right now on the DM screen, it's indicating that a player has joined. They've finished downloading any resources that they need, and they're waiting for me to assign them a token. So I'm going to go over and do that. And I can see I'm going to assign them to the fighter, and I can see that player one has joined. So I'm going to click on that. And when I do, the screen changes, and we now have the fighter and the player has control. Now, you can see that the lighting is independent. The wizard that is showing up here, and I'm going to move them on the DM screen. The wizard can move their light independently, and if they go out of view, the fighter doesn't see their light at all. They only see it when it's within the fighter's line of sight. So if the wizard's physically outside of the area that's viewable from the fighter, you can still see the light emanating from their torch. Wizard comes into the screen. Now they can see them. The player can, of course, move their token around anywhere they want on the map and interact with anything that they can. They can drive anywhere they want on the map. They cannot open doors, as I mentioned earlier. If you want to assign a status token, you cannot do that to the player. The DM can grab a hold of the player token and move it around. Now, I'm not moving it with the player's mouse. I'm moving it with the DM. So if I want to move their player, if I double-click the fighter token and deactivate it or disable it, whichever way you want to say that, but I'm going to disable it, double-click. Now you can see the player can't see their token at all. I'm now dragging them through a wall, and now I'm going to double-click them in another area of the dungeon. So now they're over on this stairwell, and you can see that they do not see the light from the wizard. I've sort of teleported them to another area of the dungeon. I'm going to drag them over here, and they can come through and see the wizard. Okay? So it works just the way you would expect with line of sight and everything. Token indicators, like the status indicators, I can assign those from the DM perspective. I cannot do that from the player perspective. They drive their token around with their status indicators. They can't turn them on or off. Only the DM can do that. Okay? And then, of course, if you have a really bad day and you end up having to have a death timer or make death saves, you can click on the skull icon from the DM's perspective and make sure that's clearly indicated. And I can turn the torch on and off on the various tokens as well. So if the fighter's torch burns out, it will automatically burn out and dim. I can also just immediately cut the torch light from the fighter if I want to do that. So it's a very simple interface from the player's perspective. There's not a whole lot of controls, but they do have the ability to control and move their token around and control their position. And they can do some exploration on the map during the gameplay. So very simple from their side. DM sort of controls most everything in the environment. And that will conclude this video. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Take care.